Hi there. How are you today, my beautiful soul? How are you feeling? So in this beautiful video, we wanted to keep down this rabbit. We're still in this rabbit hole of why your spirit guides are ignoring you. Why you feel they're ignoring you. Now, as I was sitting with this beautiful question, what came up this time is that sometimes we have expectations that get in the way. We're expecting this message to come a certain way through a certain person. I know, because I have spiritual friends that they seem to think, that if they're not hit by this lightning bolt from the sky, and if it's not directly from spirit, like some, like God is talking directly to them and there's nothing in the middle, that, it's not the real deal. It's not real information to them. And I always find this really funny. I never say anything to them, but I just find it funny that that's the way they're expecting it to come through. That it has to be this way. This is the only way that God talks to them, So many times we have an expectation when we ask for something from our spirit guides that it needs to come a certain way. It needs to come in a particular way. Like my friends that expect it's going to be a lightning bolt, from the sky that hits them in the middle of the head and bah, message, or, that it has to be directly from God. Just sit with yourself today. And as you talk to your spirit guides, catch yourself in that moment and think, am I expecting this to show up a certain way? Now, what this reminds me of is this gorgeous joke, that's been around forever. You probably know the joke, but it's relevant to this. There's a flooding that happens, and there's this lady that gets caught on her roof waiting to be rescued. And so she's praying to God, please, God, please don't let me drown. Save me. And in the moment that she says that, a boat rose up, because the house is underneath the water and she's just on the top, on the roof. That's all that's left before the flood, completely covers the roof and she drowns. So she's sitting there on this roof and this boat shows up. Come on, lady, last call. It's the river's rising, the water's rising, and we've got to get you out of here. We've got to go. Get in the boat. And she said, no, I'm good. And so, please, God, save me. Don't let me drown. And another boat comes through. Another little lifeboat comes through. Come on, lady, we've got to go. You don't have much time left before your house is completely underwater. No, I'm good. I'm covered. My help is coming. I have help coming. And then a third boat comes along. After she's like, God, please don't let me die. Don't let me die. I believe in you, God. Please don't let me die. Save me. The third boat comes along. And again, the lady says, nope, I have help coming. Okay. Off the boat goes. And the lady drowns. Then the lady gets to heaven and she's mad as hell. Why didn't you save me? She says to God. And God says, lady, I sent you 3 boats. What more do you want? And this is us many times. The message is so obvious, it's smacking us in the face, but we just don't see it because we're expecting it to come another way. Perhaps for this lady, she's waiting for an angel to come down from heaven and whisk her off. Who knows? Or that God's hand would come down and pick her up and put her on dry land or safe land or whatever. Who knows what her expectations were when she was praying to God. But it wasn't a boat. And this is us many, many times. Spirit guides have sent us so many messages and we just don't see them because we're not expecting it to show up that way. We're expecting it to show up a different way. So it's not that they're ignoring you. It's just that you have an idea that this is how it needs to come. The answer to your prayer, to your question. For me, it is all spirit. So whatever comes my way, it's meant for me. However it comes, it doesn't matter. It's meant for me. If they're talking to me, it's meant for me. If I'm hearing it, it's meant for me. If I'm seeing it, it's meant for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be seeing it. I wouldn't be hearing it. It's not for my path. It's not meant for me. Sometimes it can be as simple as looking up at the clouds. The other day I'm on a walk and I'm thinking of my husband and how grateful I am for him. And lo and behold, and I've never seen this before, I was just thinking back because we've been together for 30 years. Yes, this year was 30 years we've been together as a couple. I've known him for 32, but we've been together for 30. And I was just thinking of how grateful I am for him and, you know, the lovely relationship we all have with my daughter and just how grateful I am for my life right now. But as I'm thinking of him, I look off to the clouds and it reminded me of Bruce Almighty. You know, when he was sending her all those signs in the clouds and everywhere else, there was an image, I swear, there was an image, male and female going in for a kiss, these two clouds. And I just thought, wow, you know, in that moment, all my gratitude was creating these beautiful clouds to take that shape, you know, that I could sit even more in that beautiful feeling of love that I was feeling in that moment, you know, for him. And it was just such a lovely moment. I wish I had my camera. I don't like taking my phone with me when I go on walks. I like to just enjoy being on the walk without any interruptions, without any distractions. I just love enjoying the gardens that I walk past. I just like being present when I'm on my walks. And lately, because of the whole hip thing I had going on, I was really being present with my body, that I would be talking to my body the whole time, you know, connecting and being present with it and with my beautiful body. So, yeah, to see that was just, wow, you know, the sort of stuff you see in movies. It's not really stuff you see in real life, but it is there, you know, if you're looking for it, these things do appear. It's really, really beautiful. So perhaps sit with yourself, you know, and as you ask your beautiful spirit guides for something, think to yourself, am I expecting that this has to show up a certain way? Does it need to show up a certain way? You know, or can I just be open to, okay, however it comes? Even if it's from a stranger at the coffee shop when I go to buy my next coffee and they come in and they say something to me and that's exactly the answer I was waiting for. That's exactly the information I needed. But for many of us, if we're not expecting it that way, we would brush that off as, oh, that's not significant. That's not important. It's not for me because I don't know this person. It's a stranger. It could be the next sign that you see going past on a bus or on a building. You're walking past this building and there's a sign up there and it's exactly the answer to the question you asked your spirit guides or the help that you asked for. It's a sign. Yes, do this, or no, don't do this. There'll be a word. So, my beautiful beings, expectations always get in the way. Ask and then just release it. Just release it. And allow the information to come through however it is that it needs to come through. It is all spirit anyway, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If it's your child that's telling you this, if it's your parents that's telling you the information you need, your partner. So much of the beautiful information I needed from my path came from my partner. And the first time it happened, I was like, what? Because to me, he was like the least spiritual person I knew. He's an atheist, completely doesn't want anything to do with angels or God or nothing. No, nothing spiritual. But he believes in aliens. So, you know, to me, aliens are like spiritual beings. But it's just another name for it, you know. Anyway, it's all spirit. And I've received incredible information from him that if, you know, any other person would probably dismiss it as, oh, it's not for me because it came from him. And it's got nothing to do with my spiritual path, you know, what I'm meant to be doing here, my purpose. What would he know about my purpose? You know, he doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in angels. And here I am talking to angels now, you know. Just be open. Be open, allow it to come in however it comes in. Enjoy the ride, you know? Enjoy the ride. I'm kicking myself that we went away with my family, you know, my husband and my daughter, for a week to the Gold Coast. And they went on, at the beginning of the day, I really, really wanted to go on this roller coaster. It's like the highest roller coaster they had there. It was insane. It's a 3-minute ride, apparently. And at the beginning of the day, I was like, yeah, let's go. But as the day progressed, I lost momentum. And by the end of the day, I was like, no, I don't want to go. And now I'm regretting that I didn't, you know, because once you're on it and you just got no control. That's what roller coasters are about. But it's just the ride, you know, how it makes you feel. And I'd already been on a few rides. And for me, when it dips, it makes my stomach do this thing and I end up screaming. It's like almost like involuntary. I can't help it. And my throat was so sore from screaming from all the other rides that day that I thought, oh my, if I do that roller coaster, I'll be gone for a week. I won't be able to talk. But I talked myself out of it. You know, it was, I'm like that. At the beginning, I'll be like, I'll jump in because I haven't had time to think about it. I've looked at it now and it's this huge roller coaster. I'm like, okay, but I can do it. Let's just do it now. But if I have too much time to think about it, it's very easy to talk yourself out of it. And now that's an experience that I don't have. I didn't go on that huge roller coaster. So I don't know what that feels like. I know what the other one felt like, that I had to go upside down, the first one we tried. But at the beginning of the day, my daughter wasn't ready for it, you know? And she needed to talk herself into it. My husband was the opposite. You know, when he would have gone in the morning, he would have gone in the afternoon. And that's what I love about him. He just has no, you know, he doesn't care either way. To him, it's the experience. Let's just get on and go, you know? He's all there for the experience. And that's what I love about him. Sometimes I think he gets it more than I do. It's all about the experience. That's all we're here for, you know? And a roller coaster is like one of those things that you have no control. It shows you how much you don't have control. That's what life really is. We're not really here to control any of it, but just to experience. You don't have control. Do you control when your next breath comes? Do you control your next heartbeat? Do you control your organs inside your body and what they're doing to keep you alive? Do you control the day that you get to check in or the day you get to check out? There is no control. Control is an illusion. And expectations is a form of control, that we want it to come this way. And if it comes this way, then it's the right way for us. It's the right way. This is the way I'm expecting it to come. It's a form of control. And control comes from childhood, you know, because we're little and we have no control over what happens to us. We're at the mercy of these big beings, much bigger than us. And we have to endure whatever it is that they're going through, because that's the truth of it. Oh, this week, my husband was watching on Netflix. It's called Monster, and it's the A.W.A.K.E.N story. I think I've said that correctly. And he was fascinated with it. And I watched one episode with him and then came back and watched another one. But I find, for me, it's so intense. Everything that's going on for me is so intense that I can only take one a day. I can only watch one a day. I can't move on to watch the next one straight after, and the next one like he did. He did the whole series in one day or something. I just find energetically, I feel so agitated by the end of each one that I just need a day to settle with the information that's come through. But it really amplified even more, you know, the information for me of what we go through in our childhood and how it affects, you know, our human experience, what we go on to experience as adults. All our beliefs, all our everything. And watching as little ones, you know, how we don't have any control over whatever it is that these beings are going through. You know, for me, one of the things that came up as I was watching the first, Well, my husband was telling me, because he watched the whole thing, and I was like, well, what happened in the end? He went to this psychiatric ward, and I was worried that he was going to find a way to keep doing what he was doing at the psychiatric ward, but apparently it changed after. And he was telling me that they diagnosed him with schizophrenia. And at the time when I heard that, it reminded me of, I have two friends actually, that their mums had schizophrenia, and they grew up with it, you know, with these erratic behaviors. But one of those friends that had a mum with schizophrenia, she's the one that committed suicide that I was talking about in a previous video. And every time I hear that word, I wonder to myself, was she going through that and wasn't diagnosed? You know, did she have that mental disorder, this distortion of the world in her mind? And it was just too much to bear. She just couldn't stand it anymore. But nobody knew. Nobody knew. I didn't know. She didn't tell me she had it. She told me her mum had it. You know, but how do we know if that didn't lead her to the suicide, you know? So, yeah, there's so many things, you know? But this video was about, we may be feeling that our spirit guides are ignoring us. And that may be because we have an expectation that it needs to come this way. The information, the prayer, the whatever it is, the request, what we've put through, needs to come a certain way. And so your spirit guides might have already sent you 5, 6, 10 times the information through different, you know, ways. And you just dismiss them because it's not the way that you think it needs to come. So get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. Put the request in, the prayer, whatever it is that you want to communicate with your spirit guides. I remember when we were first doing the Lorna Byrne, the angel adventure, and she said that a simple thing you can do with your spirit guides is to ask for a feather, right? Anyway, so I kept asking for a feather. And I kept getting these white cockatoo feathers covered in mud. And I was like, what is going on? Why do I keep getting these? I was happy to get the white cockatoo feather because I'd asked for white feathers. But they kept coming in covered in mud. And I'm like, what is it with this mud? You know, what's going on? Why do I keep getting these feathers? I was, you know, discussing with my spirit guides, what's going on? I was guardian angel at the time. We were asking our guardian angel for a feather. And I was saying to my guardian angel, what's with the mud? Why do they keep coming with the mud on them? And the funny thing was, now that I look back on it, the second book that I was writing is called Covered in Yucky Mucky Mud. I was in the middle of writing that book and I wasn't quite sure of the title because originally I was going to call it One. And as I was putting the title together, the one, I looked it up and there were so many other books and other things with the word One already as the title. And I thought, well, I don't want it to look like someone else's book either, you know, so then it gets confused that it's their book. I wanted it to have a unique title. And now I look back on it, my guardian angel kept sending me these feathers covered in mud. Anyway, I dismissed them. Eventually I picked one up and I put it, you know, I collected it because I'm like, okay, you keep giving me these feathers covered in mud. Fine, I'll just take this feather covered in mud then. And the next time he sent me feathers, it was half a wing. So I'm guessing this poor bird, it was a rainbow lorikeet. And I thought it was so funny because I was, you know, telling my guardian angel off for the feathers that he was giving me. You know, that couldn't he get me clean feathers, some nice feathers? And the next thing I know, I got half a wing of a bird, which I'm guessing was eaten by a cat, attacked by a cat or something. It was one of those little rainbow lorikeets and it's got all the beautiful colors through it. And I'd been asking for nice feathers for a while and he knew I loved those birds. So when I saw that wing, my husband was like, well, that's not creepy. You know, it's like, you picked up a whole wing. What's wrong with you? But he didn't know the whole backstory because I never discussed these things with him. He doesn't believe in any of this. So I just thought it was really funny when I found the half wing in, you know, from that bird that I love so much because of all the colors. My guardian angel knows that I love colors. And, it was just so funny. I actually still have that at home. So I'll see if I can find it. I'll see what condition it's in, because that was like 5 years ago now. And I'll show you in the next video my beautiful rainbow lorikeet wing that I found while I was at work one day. It was just so funny. So, my beautiful beings, expectations. Are they getting in the way of your communication with your beautiful spirit guides? Sit with this today and see what comes up for you. We love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And we'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye for now.